Every now and then, a great manga series will be picked up by an anime studio dedicated to bringing the source material to life in the most extravagant way possible. Like Studio Bones with the iconic scene of Frieren telling Ara to kill herself, Studio Trigger with their over-the-top animation in Dungeon Meshi, and Studio Mappa telling their animators to kill themselves. But the other day, I experienced an anime adaptation so balls to the walls insane, it might actually set the bar higher than any of these other incredibly talented animation studios thus far. Of course, I'm talking about the theatrical release of the first 3 episodes of the DanDaDan anime by Studio Science Saru. Precluded by an interview with the staff and cast behind bringing this anime adaptation to life, DanDaDan: The First Encounter leaves nothing to the imagination as to how and why this goes as hard as it does. And in all honesty, I don't think the world is ready for how insane this anime adaptation is gonna be. So in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about every reason the DanDaDan anime is gonna take over the world this fall. But first, subscribe to my channel and maybe Studio Mappa will let their animators see their families again. Thank you. Now, some of you watching this right now might not actually be familiar with DanDaDan, so let me quickly bring you up to speed. DanDaDan is like the Powerpuff Girls, but instead of sugar, spice, and everything nice, the ingredients were aliens, ghosts, and balls to the walls action. Maybe a little crystal meth. But don't let any of this fool you. More than any of the crazy shit DanDaDan may look like on the outside, at its core, this series is the greatest love story ever told. I don't want to hear shit about The Notebook. Originally working as an assistant to Tatsuki Fujimoto during Fire Punch and Chainsaw Man Part 1, mangaka Yukinobu Tatsu split off and started writing DanDaDan in 2021 to almost immediate success and acclaim, coming in second place for Best Web Manga in the 2021 Next Manga Awards only a few months after its debut. I myself picked up DanDaDan pretty early, right around when Volume 2 was coming out in Japan, and I've been hooked ever since. And while I tend to be a manga purist when it comes to consuming a series I love, I'm gonna turn my back on all my convictions here to tell you, if you haven't read the DanDaDan manga yet, wait for the anime. And manga readers, before you turn to throw tomatoes at the heretic, you have to see this shit. It's that good. I'm pretty sure the secret behind what was in Marcellus Wallace's briefcase was actually the DanDaDan anime. So without further ado, let's open up this donut shop because I'm about to start some serious hardcore glazing. First of all, I'm calling it now. With the Demon Slayer anime approaching its end with the upcoming movies, DanDaDan is going to take the torch as the next anime people are going to accuse of being carried by its animation. Not because they're right, this couldn't be any further from the truth, but because the animation in DanDaDan is just that next level. The fight scenes are crisp and easy to follow, the visual comedy, while already great in the manga, is even funnier in the anime, and there were even atmospheric elements that could have been taken directly from a live-action horror movie, thanks to the incredible efforts of director Fuga Yamashita. In the interview before the screening of DanDaDan: The First Encounter, Yamashita walked the audience through his thorough process of storyboarding and scene setting. He showed off countless storyboards he drew of iconic scenes from classic horror movies, where he spares no effort to capture everything that makes that scene so special. An example he gave of this in action was using the change of lighting in the abandoned building to reveal the Serpoians in a creepier way than the regular page turn in the manga. No matter what the vibe of a specific scene in DanDaDan is, the animation goes above and beyond to match it thanks to the amazing direction of Yamashita. But it's not just the animation that contributes to the incredible vibe and atmosphere of DanDaDan, no. Studio Science Saru is actually famous for their use of vibrant, solid colors to add a unique charm to their anime. And not only does this apply to their adaptation of DanDaDan, they take it much further than ever before, employing a shading technique that looks like it could have been taken directly from the JoJo's Bizarre Adventures playbook. If you don't know what I'm talking about or haven't watched JoJo's, in most of the fight scenes, the entire color palette of the anime is changed to give the battle a more intense feeling. It's completely unrealistic and out of this world, but it's part of the charm that makes JoJo so beloved. And while the color shift used in DanDaDan isn't quite the same as the complete recoloring in JoJo's, in my opinion, it's equally as charming. Vibrant colors and amazing animation. If only this anime had Natsuki Hanae as the lead male voice actor, then this really would be a lot like Demon Slayer. Oh, you ignorant bitch. Okay, but for real, the voice cast of DanDaDan is actually insane. Shion Wakayama, who's the voice actress for Momo, isn't necessarily a newcomer on the scene, seeing as she has voice acting credits spanning back to her early childhood. However, she's been getting more and more lead roles over the past year or two, and it's absolutely clear as to why after seeing her performance in DanDaDan. Funny enough, she also did a fantastic fantastic job as Lemon from Too Many Losing Heroines, which is also an anime I covered on my channel recently, so remember to give that video some love after this one. But as Momo, you can really hear Shion Wakayama's range as a voice actor on full display with some incredibly high intensity moments that you wouldn't hear from her in her previous projects outside of maybe like Chorus Recoil. And what else is there to say about Natsuki Hanae other than he's the GOAT? He's Tanjiro, Ken Kaneki, even fucking Odokawa from Odd Taxi, one of my all-time favorite anime, which I didn't even know was him till I pulled up his My Anime List page before I started filming this video.
That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
And in the interview section before the screening of DanDaDan The First Encounter, director Fuga Yamashita does a fantastic job explaining why Wakayama and Hanae are such fantastic voice actors to play the roles of Okarun and Momo. Wakayama's high-intensity, almost shriek-like performance in the more balls-to-the-wall scenes makes a contrast with her low-intensity, exasperated tone in the sillier moments that Yamashita said was like the range of a Y-axis. And Hanae's ability to change from being sweet and lovable to pompous and arrogant on a dime as Okarun was remarked to be like that of an X-axis. The duo of Wakayama and Hanae cover so much range and complements each other incredibly well for a buddy role like DanDaDan. But there's a secret third player here that I would be remiss to not shout out, and that's Mayumi Tanaka, the GOAT voice actress behind Monkey D. Luffy, playing Turbo Granny in DanDaDan. There are probably a few people here who have been watching my channel since all the way back when I was talking about yokai and Japanese folklore, but for the majority of people who are newer here, there's nothing I love more than a good old ghost story rooted in Japanese culture. So unsurprisingly, I'm a big fan of Turbo Granny as a character in general, but seeing her in the animation and hearing Tanaka's amazing voice acting amplified my love for the character even more. Tanaka's voice acting performance really sounded like that of a vengeful spirit. It almost feels like an homage to the voice of Yubaba and Zeniba from Spirited Away. Overall, the voice cast for DanDaDan was the key to bringing this animation from already great to a truly unforgettable experience. Now, there is one aspect of the DanDaDan anime that I thought wasn't actually as flashy and over the top as everything else, and that was the soundtrack. Don't let this fool you though, because the composer behind the DanDaDan soundtrack is none other than the legendary Kensuke Ushio, who also did the music for A Silent Voice, Chainsaw Man, and Devilman Crybaby. So while the soundtrack for the first 3 episodes wasn't actually all that crazy, you just know as soon as there's a heavier emotional moment, you're gonna have a new song to cry in the car to. I've talked a bit about Kensuke Ushio's genius before in my Sign of Affection versus A Silent Voice video, but I truly believe there's no one in the film scoring industry that does it like him. As for the anime opening itself, it seems like we have another banger by Creepy Nuts on our hands here. And if you don't know who Creepy Nuts is, they were the guys that did that really popular Mashal opening. I never even watched Mashal, and I still knew that anime opening slapped. And Creepy Nuts has once again knocked it out of the park with their new song Otonoke. The visuals are insane, and the song itself is super catchy. In all honesty, after seeing how amazing the DanDaDan anime turned out after being a fan of the manga for so long, I couldn't help but think, this is what the Chainsaw Man anime should have been. Not that the Chainsaw Man anime was bad in the slightest, but I wish a series that shares a lot of DanDaDan's quirkiness got the same treatment. Science Saru also did a fantastic job preserving Yukinobu Tatsu's iconic art style, whereas I feel like MAPPA didn't capture the charm of Tatsuki Fujimoto's quite as well. Damn, MAPPA's catching strays in this video. None of what I'm saying here is to disparage the Chainsaw Man anime, but it serves to show just how much love and effort was put into the making of the DanDaDan anime adaptation. And this is made abundantly clear by just how happy everyone from the voice cast to the production staff to even Yukinobu Tatsu himself sounded in that interview before the showing of the first 3 episodes in theaters. We're in for a truly special anime experience this fall, even though it's being released by Netflix, which can be an incredibly hit or miss experience. JoJo's fans and Kimi ni Todoke fans are seething right now. However, I'm fairly certain we're gonna get a more traditional release style for the DanDaDan anime than the tragedy that's befallen other beloved anime adaptations on Netflix. And don't worry if you weren't able to catch DanDaDan The First Encounter in theaters last week, because as of the time this video goes live, it'll be less than 2 short weeks before the first episode drops. So if you have no fucking clue what I'm talking about in this video, just you wait. Alright, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.